Today is Thursday, November the 26th. I am your host, Casey Phoenix, and this is my daily thought. All right. I was looking for my water. My water had vanished on me. Okay. I don't have much on this one for today, which is the actual episode today. If you watched or listened to, more than likely, my previous podcast episode, you know that Anchor was down for most of the day yesterday. And I recorded the episode I would have done yesterday today. And obviously now I'm recording the episode I planned on doing today. Yeah, that sounds right, I guess. Okay. So here I am. It's so weird. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone. A very, very happy Thanksgiving. I'm sure everyone is in the process of stuffing their faces right now while listening to this, or preparing to go to the stores, if any stores are allowing people in. I don't know what the situation is. Or go online, because I've been doing a lot of my shopping online, because that's where I usually shop anyway, because I usually don't feel like being bothered with people. So I just prefer to do my shopping online. But when it comes to Thanksgiving, I'm thankful for a lot of things. But the weird thing is that I sort of look, where do I want to start on this? Where do I want to start? Okay, I have a lot of thoughts going through my head, which is nothing new. And I'm going to have to pull bits and pieces and sew all of this together. All right, when it comes to holidays, let's start with that. I'm not big on holidays, especially for holidays that celebrate certain things, if that makes sense, or periods. Just like I'm not big on Black History Month. I don't like it. I don't feel that, or any month for anybody, even with LGBT, and I'm gay, even with June for gay pride and all of that stuff. It's nice to have a good time and show appreciation. At the same time, I prefer for people to do things year round, if that makes sense. I don't like, and this is me personally, I don't like that a month is picked, that someone picks a month and says, okay, this is the month that we remember what Black people did, what contributions Black people made. And not to get too political or anything, because we don't do politics on this channel. I would rather those contributions be recognized by the Black community throughout the year, and not, oh, well, it's February. All right, let's go ahead and start pulling out all the Black facts and all that stuff. I'm not into that. And same things with other celebration months and whatnot. And it's sort of the same thing with Thanksgiving. It's where people, they want to say, I'm thankful for this, I'm thankful for that. But for me, I'm always giving thanks every day, even if it's for waking up in the morning, which I'm thankful I woke up this morning. And you should be too if you're listening to this. And just thankful for other things, especially if you had things happen in your life where you're nowhere near you where you once were. You can see how far you've come from what you once were. Like in my situation, I've been homeless twice, and other things have happened in my life. Yet, I'm still here. And I'm thankful for that, because I know people, a lot of people that I've dealt with in my life that I get upset. I was thinking about one of my friends, associates today, and I think about him a lot, but I had thought about him today because he's not here anymore. And by being here, being physically here. And I think of other situations where people who I feel, and I only know what I know based off of my experiences and interactions with these individuals. People who I sincerely feel were good people, but they're no longer here for whatever reason. My cousin, he was a good person. He was a Marine. He was chill. He was just really, really chill, but he got killed. And because he was a bouncer at a club. My other cousin, which I told you about, he died in a bad drug deal because he sold drugs or whatever. And the deal went bad and he didn't make it out. But I know some people might say, well, how could you consider a drug dealer a good person? Everyone has their faults. Everyone has vices. Everyone has things that can be brought into question. I don't care who you are. If you're a human being walking on this planet, you have something, but more than likely several things that can be brought into question. Regardless of those things that someone can shine a light on and bring into question, that doesn't necessarily make you a bad person, at least not in my eyes. And my interactions with my cousin, and some people might say that I'm biased on that, and that's fine, I can wear that. But my interactions with my cousin, dealing with him outside of the profession that he chose, my cousin was a good person. And he's not here. I told you about someone else who I dealt with. She was a good person. She was shot and killed while celebrating her birthday. So when it comes to giving thanks on a specific day, it's nice that people can get together with family, and I hope everyone's enjoying their time with their family. It's just not really, holidays just aren't my thing. They haven't been for a while. It started in 2002, in December 2002, when I was in Miami. Because that was the story I had told you guys about when I was stuck in Miami, because of for those who, because there's a bunch of episodes to catch you guys up. I got stuck in Miami. My car went bad. My car's transmission at the time was on its way to going out. It was actually 200 miles outside Miami. And I poured some transmission fluid in it. I prayed over my car, and I was just like, look, Lord, if you can get me to Miami, I will figure out the rest. And that's what happened. My car started up and started going, and it literally coasted into the hotel parking lot in Miami Beach, and then went out and wouldn't start again and work again. It went 200 miles. It was like that was the final ride on that. And at that time when I was in Miami, I didn't want to call my parents and ask them to fix the car, which I could have. I could have called, my parents could have called my grandparents. I could have called whoever, because it's whatever when it comes to that. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to handle it myself. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to stay here. And that's when I had called my mother and I told her that I moved to Miami. And she was just like, talk to your dad, and handed the phone to him. She didn't even say anything except talk to your dad, and handed him the phone. And that was that. And I remember on Christmas Day, I was in a Chinese restaurant with two other people. One person I was crashing with, the other person had actually rode with me to Miami. And I was thinking, wow, this is the first Christmas that I have not spent with my family. All the Christmases and holidays and Thanksgivings and everything else before that, I had always spent the holidays with my family. But in Miami that day in the Chinese restaurant, we were eating, what were we eating? I don't recall what we were eating. We were eating something. It's not coming to me. But that was just on my mind. That, wow. And ever since that Christmas that I didn't spend with my family, or that Christmas period, because usually on Christmas, my family will get together on Christmas Eve. We pick a house, and whoever's home is picked, that's where everyone gathers at on Christmas Eve, passes out gifts and all that stuff, yada, 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 that whole thing. As for Thanksgiving, it was usually a toss-up between my parents' house and my mother's house. Because like I told you in my episode day before yesterday, my granny she doesn't cook. She didn't cook. She wasn't about that life anymore. So, but my mother's mother, she was always cooking. So it was usually either there or my mother's house for Thanksgiving. And after that Christmas in 2002, I don't know if it just made me numb to holidays, but it was just like, okay. So, and I've been like that ever since. People always ask me. My god sister actually called me. I told you she called me day before yesterday. And she was asking, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Because she was going over to her friend's house for Thanksgiving. And I was like, oh, I'm not doing anything. And she's like, really? I'm like, no, I'm not cooking. I'm not doing anything. I'm just burying my head in my work is what I'm doing. And she was like, oh, okay. Which I'll probably call my other god sister today, because I spoke to her in like a month and a half. And I got to call my parents today too. But yeah, I'm thankful every day. It's nice to get together. And that's the other thing too. What I used to eat when I would celebrate Thanksgiving, those aren't really the things I eat that much anymore. My palate has changed. So it's weird. Not saying that I won't eat, because like my granny used to say, if you get hungry enough, you'll eat anything. But I just have different tastes now. I have different needs. As our lives change, so do our needs. And I'm thankful every day for all of the things that have happened throughout my lifetime, whether it's having life, whether it's health, whether it's being secure where I haven't had to worry about rent, whether it's anything that I can think of. My needs have been met, and I'm thankful for that. Do I want more? Of course, there's nothing wrong with wanting more. And I did an episode about that. I always want more because I like nice things. So that's fine. But as for my needs, being met, all of my needs have been met this year on a ridiculously good level. And I'm thankful for that. And I wouldn't want anyone else whose needs have been met this year and last year and the years before and so on and so forth, that now they're here on this day. And it's just taking this day on Thanksgiving to get them to say, well, thank you, God, or thank you, universe, or thank you, whoever, for my needs being met all year. When really the giving thanks is something, in my eyes, in my humble opinion, and that's all it is an opinion, it's not a judgment. In my humble opinion, is something that should be done every day. Even if it's just one thing to give thanks for. And I don't need a holiday for that, is how I feel about it. But the good thing I will say about Thanksgiving is that people do get together, they have a good time, they create new memories, and they enjoy themselves, they can reconnect and catch up and enjoy life and do that. And that is a good thing too. For those who are into that, that's a good thing. So yeah, that's Thanksgiving thoughts. Now, I have to go into my announcement because I told you before in my previous episode that I had an announcement for you guys. So, I told you I've been doing administrative stuff, working behind the scenes on this podcast, getting things up and running and out. As you already know, Anchor is my main podcasting platform. Anchor distributes on 8 or 9 platforms. However, there are tons of other platforms that a podcast can be distributed through. And some platforms are small, some platforms are large. I just received confirmation yesterday because I submitted all the information probably, I think about 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, for my podcast to be carried on another platform. And I received confirmation by email yesterday that my podcast is now part of iHeartRadio, which I'm over the moon about that. And I'll put the link now, just like I have the link to the Apple, the podcast on Apple and some of the others. I'll have the link as well in the description section to the iHeartRadio for the podcast. So now there's another place, which those who know, iHeartRadio is a very large platform. And for them to have approved my podcast and put it on there after I submitted all my materials that they asked for, I'm really thankful for that. This is something else for me to be thankful for, as well as waking up today and having my voice, because my voice comes and goes sometimes. So I'm really happy. So that is my announcement. So if you do not want to listen to the podcast on Anchor or Apple or Spotify or Google Play or Google Podcast or whatever, if you are into iHeartRadio, Keeping It Real with KC is officially part of iHeartRadio now. And the link will be in the description section. So, yeah. I'm happy. I'm not going to pop my collar, but I'm happy. I am happy. So that's the announcement. And also, I wouldn't have been able to get my podcast on the iHeartRadio platform if not for you guys listening to my podcast. So I appreciate every single one of you for that. I have my binge listeners where they will come in, listen to like 50 episodes, and then they'll drop off. Then they'll come in again, listen to another 50 and do it that way, which is fine. However you want to consume it, more power to you. I'm thankful that you're willing to listen to little old me. And you guys have been supporting me, listening to my show. And because you've been supporting me, I'll keep going. I'll keep going. And now I have an even larger reason to keep going because the show has been added to a very large, well-known platform. And the show is in the process of being added to other platforms too. I just won't announce until it's done. Just like I had submitted everything to iHeartRadio, but I didn't want to say, oh, well, I submitted to iHeartRadio and then it doesn't get approved. And then I'm looking like who did it and why. But now that I have the confirmation email and now that I have the link showing my podcast on the iHeartRadio site, it's done. The ink is dry. So when I get more confirmations like that, I'll make those announcements as time goes on. So yeah, I hope everyone's enjoying their Thanksgiving. If you are after a PS5 or an Xbox Series X or S, I'm rooting for you. I am rooting for you. And that's all I have. I love you guys. Thank you for the support. KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. KIRWKC on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook.com/KIRWKC if you're watching this on YouTube or Daily Motion. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, followed by notification bell. And yeah, I think that's all I got. Until next time, be blessed.